Why do we keep creating? That's the biggest question.
Biggest question. What do we do? What do we do? Where
I
do we
don't know,
go?
but Sonia, have you heard? Apparently, there's some going on in the animation industry.
Yeah, it's looking kind of slow. I know that we're going through a shift right now, so to speak, where we are struggling to find openings and jobs and productions being greenlit. And yeah, it's a real thing right now. It's definitely a struggle, and it's been on and off this way for a few years now. So, what do you, how do we get into this conversation essentially? We're here really to talk about the pain points right now, right? And
Yeah, these are
how
very
do we,
big pain points.
right? Like, how do we keep, what should we do in meanwhile, while we're trying to figure out how to pay bills? Do we keep creating or do we keep making stuff in animation, and what do we do with the stuff that we make? And yeah, like
Yeah, what to do with
should we
it?
talk about that? Yeah, what to do? What
What
do we
to
do
do
with
with
the
it?
stuff we make? Yeah.
Yeah, because right now it's such a difficult time for a lot of artists, like finding jobs. That's one of them. The main thing is we have to be realistic about all the situation. We have to look at all
Mhm.
the moving parts. We have to see it from all points of views. And it comes down to at this point is what can you you need to either level up. If you feel like you need to level up right now, this is the time. But also you got to also
Right.
realize that you might need a job, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be right in the industry. If you need to go get a job at coffee shop or Walmart, doesn't matter. Does that will not define you.
Right.
You're still an artist. You haven't changed anything. You just need income to put food on the table or pay your rent, whatever. But that doesn't mean let go of your skills or your passion for what you do. That's still there. Uh,
Mhm.
but we have to be realistic that there's not many jobs out there in the industry, and the competition is really high right now. So
Right.
that's something we really got to keep in mind. I mean, I'm just reiterating because it's like we all know about
Yep.
this. We just have to keep that open. What is your view on this, Sunny?
I think that watching other people make it, like I think what Meridian Culpepper does with her Herringbone
Who
Studio,
is this?
which is
Sorry,
real.
let's tell people who she
Yeah.
is. So
You guys are welcome to find her online. She has a YouTube channel.
she's great. Yeah.
I am just personally a fan of her being very bold and speaking about what she's doing and making it work as an independent artist. And she has a daytime job she talks about, that is not an animation, and it allows her to, pay her for her life and keep producing and making, working on her series, which is based on her pilot, Planet Chain. Uh, and for those who are familiar, she kickstarted the pilot, the making of the pilot, and now I think it's in completion or close to completion, and she's working on her anthology series. So check out her YouTube, check out her journey on the Kickstarter. Uh, she's a great example where you don't have to give it up. You can still keep collaborating. You can still find ways to have things made, whether by yourself, if you have the skills, or collaborate with others and find ways to either pay them, or even if you're collaborating without pay on your own time, it's still valuable and worth. Like, our skills have value to them. We trade our skills for pay. And so when we use our skills to create for ourselves, it's just as valuable. What we make, what can go into film festivals, there's ways you can apply what you make. So, but getting
Yeah.
real about your situation, right? Like you were just saying, like we all got to
Well,
pay
that's
bills.
the one thing. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the very important part is that I think artists forget also the skill sets that we have as artists.
Hmm.
I actually encourage everybody to take a piece of paper, write down what can you do, because it's not just animation. Like, it's very generic when I ask sometimes people is like, "What do you do?" I'm an animator. Okay, what is that? That's such a broad thing to say. How about, hey, I'm very specifically, I do storyboards. Very specifically, um, I specialize in character animation. I specialize in effects animation. We tend to be very general, and we kind of undersell ourselves a lot, I feel. This is just talking to a lot of artists. Um, we need to kind of like know our value, know what we can bring to the table. And I think sometimes we just forget that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention that essentially when it comes to getting real about, your situation, my situation, whoever is listening to this, every single person, every single one of us, our situation is going to be different from the other person. And so when I look at people and how they're making things work, everybody's availability, time availability, and bandwidth and finances, they're different. And so based on our situations and getting real about how long can we afford to keep looking for a job not getting paid, like dipping into our savings, or like being supported by our spouses, how long can we afford to live like that before we need to really cut ourselves off and say, well, that's, we tried, we did our best, we gave it 150% every day, like improving our, like portfolios, like updating our reels, doing our web, like whatever, like websites, links, applying for jobs, repurposing our portfolios as artists. Like, I feel like getting real about our situations and giving ourselves deadlines is just as important as looking for jobs and understanding where
100%.
we got to pivot.
Yeah.
So,
And pivoting
and
is going to be the main thing that we have to concentrate on and put the energies into it, because
Mhm.
right now just looking for job, it's not going to be enough because the competition's high. So we need to figure out what are your next steps.
Well, I just want to say to those listening, competition means there's a lot of people out there who are
Yes, let's
unemployed,
define
but
that.
there's
Yeah.
also very few jobs. So even if in a healthy market we had a lot of competition, which is good for us, and there'd be like abundance of jobs, this wouldn't be like a huge struggle. But this is conditional to the current job market that is so small compared to the demand of the people looking for employment. And it's important to make a distinction that this is what we got to get really real about. It's not all up to us. You could be the best artist, you could do everything right. You can apply the moment the job opens up, but there's only so many people a recruiter can get through to see, and we don't know the other side of
Yeah. They might have
variables
a
of the
timeline to get the
timing,
people.
timeline. We don't
Um,
know. These are things we can't control, right?
yeah.
So we can do everything right, and the chances are their chances are much lower because of the situation. So when we're saying, yeah, like competition, I personally don't want to encourage people to try to compete harder because there's only so much you can do before it's no longer up to you. That is my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the way I see the market at the moment with job market and what is available. And I think that every choice comes with risk. I'm a person who likes to assess risk and say, well, I can do A, B, C, and D. I can do it all right. And then at the end, am I willing to take the current situation, the risk it comes with, of the chances? What are the chances of me getting through to being seen, first of all, and then being the fit for the job, second of all, and third of all, getting the rate that I need to live? That's the third thing. And am I willing to get through all these things, and at the end when there's going to be an offer for me, what do I need to in order to live? I mean, it's going to
Yeah.
be really conditional to a lot of variables that you don't have control over. And everybody needs to be real with what they can afford in terms of time searching, and when to say, okay, so I gave myself X amount of time, I got to do the next thing that will now make me money, right? And what is that? How do I function? So, what do you think in terms of like the whole idea where now we have to accept we are self-employed and
Yeah.
we have to promote ourselves? Like, what do you?
We're freelancers. We have been for a long time. Some people are, are working at studios under like salary, whatever. But in the end, we mostly end up working as freelance, and you need to be
Mhm.
your own business. So there's a whole other thing to that you might need to learn skills, and that's fine. That's the best part about pivoting. What's exciting about it, actually, I find, is that you get to learn new skills, and they
Mhm.
stack with the skills that you have. But I do want to bring something up that's very important and I feel very strongly about. And it's the fact that everybody has great ideas. Creative people, as creative people, we have amazing ideas that could change the industry forever. And people have done that, right? But the problem is, most of the people don't have the skills to execute these ideas. So, what do we need to do? Well, this is where we actually have to break down the skills that we actually need to get there and learn them. This is our opportunity to grow. So, yeah, when you work at a studio, this is the thing is you only do one thing most of the time and you get used to it and you just continue doing it. But you don't get to grow as an artist as much as you want unless you're putting the time. I'm not saying everybody does, but this is an opportunity for us. So take that negative and turn it into a positive. This is an opportunity. And two, and this I believe very strongly about, uh, it's that we need to realize that no one is going to come and save us. There's no
Mhm.
Tom Bombadil that's going to come out of the fucking hills and say, I'm
Mhm.
going to save you guys. It's not
Mhm.
going to happen. The only one that's going to save ourselves is us. And how do
Mhm.
we do this? Well, you know what? Community is very important, I think, in this because this is how we support each other in these times where we
Mhm.
talk to our our colleagues and we discuss things and they're like, how did you do this? And be open to it. Don't, you know, don't hold on to knowledge because we should be helping each other at times like this. These
Mhm.
are the times that we need the community strong. So I would say you can't, no one's coming to save you, but you can save yourself. And that way you can actually help each other, you know, because the other people are not going to save you either, but they can, we can help each other to survive. You know, it's like we got to think of it as like we're in a raft in
Mhm.
rough oceans right now.
Mhm.
We know that there's like ocean of calmness up ahead. We just got to get there, hang on, and get up our skills to move there. That's just my view on it.
Yeah, so and that's true. And I'm just going to kind of speak to the other side of this kind of moment where you don't have to do everything by yourself. This is where animation is collaboration. And so essentially the skills that you have, you can keep applying them to keep making things collectively with other people. And so while we have to pivot and get jobs that will not directly be us working on projects in animation that pay us for it, and we pivot to that, we still can make time to work on animation projects, animation content
Yeah, make your
collectively,
own IP.
make your own IP, and you don't have to do it by yourself. We can
No.
still keep doing what we would do for, as a full-time job, just on a different level, like part-time. Like I worked on a short film part-time while I had a full-time job. And
Yeah.
so I just gotta say that when I worked on a short film in a team, fulfilling my role, once we finished that film gave me a lot. Um, in parallel to having a job. That film gave me opportunity to be part in festivals. That film gave me opportunity to say that we completed something in a team with a pipeline. It wasn't just me by myself, which means there was accountability, there were deadlines, credibility in the sense of we worked with other professionals who are experienced. And that experience doesn't go away just because right now we're not applying ourselves in a production like in real time. We still have experience that is valid. Nobody can take that away from you if you
Yeah.
have experience. So if you're collaborating with other people and you're working on a short film part-time,
Get
so you're still
accountability partners, right?
accountability, but it just
That's
keeps
what
you,
helps you.
yeah, like you still working in the capacity, um, developing something or producing something or animating something. And when it's going to be done, because that's what makes us professionals, we finish things.
Mhm.
You can then submit it to places where it will be another opportunity for you as a calling card outside of that, here's my portfolio thing. So it's not going to be a waste of time and it's
Not at
going
all.
to keep you, no, and it's going to keep
It's
you
taking small
engaged.
steps, right? It's taking small steps. But
Absolutely.
again, it's like going back to nobody's going to save you. And I keep using that as a reference, but it's like you got to do the work yourself. You can
Right.
have support, you can have accountability partners, but you have to do the work.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. And that helps your growth as an artist. Like, um, I mean, that's just the way I see it. You know, get help from people, right? If you don't know how to do something, I am sure, like me and Sonia are very open, like in our community where people ask questions, we try to help out. Like if we can, we try to answer questions. If we don't know, we ask somebody that does, and that's how we keep it going because um, we want to make sure that we're all informed. You know,
Right.
information is power.
Yes, and me personally, I'm still collaborating on two different projects in the capacity of like I love doing boards. It's where I thrive. I love directing just as much as and as a director, I love to also be included in the boards process because when you are storyboarding, you are visually directing, the story. So both of these are extremely important to me, and I can't stop doing that. And because I love collaborating, because to me, animation is the most natural form of collaboration. That creating animated, shorts or whatever, you could do it yourself, but I personally love that process where we collaborate and make something, we mold it into something, and then the film is born out of collaboration and ideas and exchanging and essentially exploring together creatively. And I think that's the essence of what animation is. It's always been the essence of why we end up with finished films
Yeah.
or episodes. We all know how difficult productions can be, and they start out as one thing and it ends up being like pretty much the same direction, but there's still a process of where it reshapes itself and uh, I don't know what the word is, like morphs itself into what it ends up being on small levels, of course.
Yeah, and that's how
Uh,
you learn the process too. Like you actually
yeah,
can make your own process out of it because not a, again, a studio have their own process because they have to follow a
yeah,
mandate, right? And this is usually what you have is the outcomes that you're trying to give to the client.
yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts to it. You have no control over it. But when you're doing your own short film, when your own project, you have control of how much you can put into it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of sacrifices that you're going to have to give up. Like, I mean, me doing three, it took me 3 years or so to finish my short film. And it was because I was working at the same time. So I sacrificed weekends and evenings um, to do it. And I made a lot of mistakes, but you learn through your mistakes. You have to make those mistakes in order to move forward because otherwise, we don't know everything. And I find maybe because I'm getting older, I just find it like making mistakes is kind of exciting at the outcome of that because you're like, okay, I messed this up. How can I make it better now? And that's how you grow as an artist. Because sometimes things will work, sometimes they don't work, but don't be afraid of it not working because without that information, you won't know how to succeed. You need to kind of learn how to go around it. Um, but I just want to go back really quickly on finding work. A lot of people are having trouble with that right now. And do a lot of research. I think a lot of the things this is research where you're applying to. We're not taught a lot of these things. Maybe a lot of you guys know that, but you go in and you need to know what the market is like right now. And also what are the you have to sometimes eat the bullet, right? If they're paying a lot less than you used to, you're gonna have to either take it or you don't. Because if you're gonna take it and then be miserable because you're not getting paid enough and you're overworking yourself, like you have to weigh it out, right? Then it's like, would you rather go work at Home Depot?
Hmm.
And then you can make your own stuff on the side. You'll have the time and have your
Hmm.
creative energy be used to your own projects. It's a choice you have to make. So you have to be very thoughtful about that. So, like, what do you think about that, Sonia? Or do you have a different opinion on that?
My opinion is, and again, this is where I say every one of us has different situations. Like for me, my risk tolerance or my energy level is very different from, somebody, let's say, who doesn't have kids and commitments as a parent.
Like me.
And I think that when you have all the time that you're not taking care of other humans, little humans, I would really like you all to hear out that you have a lot of time you can carve out to be productive. But saying that, I'd also like to say that as busy as we all can get, we need to carve out time to be taking
Time
care
management.
of ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, in terms of like what am I going to do for money and what that looks like for me in terms of stress or whatever, I think that this is the part where we have to make the choices for the right reasons. So if you can find a way to take a job that is tolerable to you, whatever that job is, whether it's the working like on a production or going to Home Depot, you have to decide for yourself, like what is going to work for you in your situation. And then are you able to carve out time for yourself to be healthy? So
Yeah.
what does it look
That's
like?
a
You
very
make
important
sure,
thing.
yeah, you get your sleep, you make sure you eat, you make sure you give yourself time to rest. There's many ways you can rest, and that is again depends on what you do to unwind, detox, whatever. You have to also get real about that. Like, what does that look like for you? It's going to
Mental
be different.
stability is it's a big thing, and
Yeah,
especially nowadays.
right. So like for me, I'm in this industry in animation because I just, as much as I try to see and look the other way, where else can I pivot my life and respecialize? I just don't see how I can be happy anywhere else. So I'm not gonna stop doing it. So I'm just gonna have to carve out the time to keep doing it in a different way. So for me, I'm collaborating with creatives, I'm developing shows, and it doesn't have to look the way it used to look like when I did it full time as a job. If it works out to be that way, it that really depends on, again, it's all your personal choices. But I think that being realistic about resting and taking care of your body is very important. And
Yeah, you don't want to burn out. Like it burning
no,
out is
because
it creatively kills you.
right, but also it makes us very unhealthy. And so
Oh, huge.
um, there are consequences to all the choices that we make, and getting sick is a real thing. And I think that until somebody didn't feel what it's like to feel sick, they can think they're more invincible. The fact is, I don't think it's a good idea to drive yourself to the ground to understand the consequence. I think we all know our limits and we all know when we're pushing our limits. And I
Yeah.
think it's that moment where we get really honest with ourselves. How much time is enough and what is realistic for each one of us, and then
Hmm.
working around that and like setting your priorities straight. Because if you're in it for the long game and you want to stick around and keep doing things, whether it's full time or with a team of people part time,
Yeah.
and keep making short films or developments or animating on something that's already in production, like if it's a short film in production that you have a team and you're going to submit it to festivals and get traction that way, or create a social media campaign, you need to commit and then understand what that looks like for you when you commit to keep in it, and be realistic about what you need in your life to be able to continue to commit. So dropping out happens, people start and they
Yeah.
drop out, and that's fine.
It
Everybody
happens.
gets
It's
to
normal.
choose. Absolutely. And so the sooner you get real about what you're in, like why are you in it, and how long do you want to be in it for, and for why your reason, the more clarity I think it helps me get, and whoever listens to it get, is like, how can I manage this? What can I do to keep going? In what way? And that's where the answers come in.
Yeah.
And the thing with what you were talking about, like essentially collaborating for a purpose of making something, and we talked about scheduling our times, and while you're looking, and you're essentially becoming a freelancer, right? So like what I would say to that is, we can label it however we want, but it is a production based industry. So there is a production, there's a job. There's no production, there is no job. And it will fluctuate. And so not something we can control because it's a budget it's budget related, and it's, you know, same thing with the
But
clients and
but
all that. Are there people wanting to make things and hire crew up and all that? So the part where you're saying we're self-employed, what we are our own business, what that really means is we always have to keep looking for the next gig. And that gig may be different. It may look different. Maybe it's storyboarding for a commercial. Maybe it's designing for an ad. Maybe it's doing animatics for something
motion
else, games,
graphics.
motion
Yeah,
graphics, games,
there's too
uh,
many things. We have a
so
lot
many
of
things.
skills, but that's why I say write down what your skills are because
Yeah.
we have more skills than we think. We just never think about them because we just take them for granted. We just do it every day. But there's many things that we can do, and you might have to have 10 different versions of your resume,
Hmm.
and that's a
Yep.
normal thing. Actually, that's very. I would recommend that a lot. Like have a apply everywhere, but see where your skills fit. But the thing you got to remember too is that this is not forever. It's not like you're giving up your whole the love for your craft. You're just you need to feed yourself and take care of your body so you can use that craft that you need, that you're learning to use and um embrace it. And but you need to be mentally and physically um healthy. I mean, not
Yep.
not everybody's healthy, but you know what I mean by that is you gotta be do the best you can with it. um
Yeah.
but the one thing I gotta say is the future is indie. We will make the
So true.
shows that people will watch in the future. We're the ones that create it. We are the ones that make it happen.
People already making it happen. You look at
Right.
Glitch, they're an
People are
indie
making it
studio.
happen. They're
It's
everywhere.
happening. The fact that people, I think everybody will ask the question of, well, I would love to keep being indie, but it doesn't pay me. It doesn't pay me. What do I do? And this is
Yeah.
where pivoting is the question. And also, here's the part where we all share tips on how we're looking for work. And this is why, again, we're going to do another free workshop on what we are what we are going to do. So in terms of like tips and sharing with each other. So yeah, check out our info in the
Yeah.
link below and just subscribe to our newsletter for our upcoming workshop on how we're searching for jobs and what we're doing in terms of
Yeah. Let's keep the conversation going. What do you guys think about the new world that we're navigating? How are you navigating it? And if you see what prospects you see in the future, I will we would love to hear from y'all. Like, please drop it in the comments, or like Sonia said, you can join our community description below and join our newsletter, and we can go from there. Let's hear from you guys. Let's stay as a community and stay strong.